behind on their property taxes and utilities. These residents who qualify can receive up to $65,000 in grant assistance. The website for that is www.legacycdc.org, and one of the contact persons is Kirtland Richardson at 409-433-8283. I would hope that the council could do something to assist the elderly, especially since so many people are behind on their property taxes. This is a wonderful opportunity to stop people from losing their homes within Jefferson County and Orange County as well. And the other thing regarding the gentleman speaking, the district engineer, I do have a concern as a citizen, one of which affects me deeply, as though I lost a relative recently who was only 23 years old. Regarding your survey for DOT, if that becomes a possibility, could you also add an item to discuss the concrete barriers and trees in the grassways, in the middle of freeways? I'm not understanding why trees need to be there. Not in a joking way. I did pay attention a little bit in engineering, and I did pay a little attention in physics. So I don't understand why people would put up dangerous structures where you don't have any room to brake. You have 18-wheelers going, supposed to be 65 miles an hour, but they're going like 100. And then you have little cars. There's no give. From Winnie to Orange, how many deaths have we experienced? I'm not understanding what is the necessity of the concrete barriers, because I don't see any construction taking place. And I have observed for more than 12 years, so I'm just wondering, why are we creating dangerous situations where you're having pileups, you're having multiple deaths, fatalities, you're having multiple accidents, because there's no give. We had the feeder roads, so even if something happened, you could go to the grass to avoid the incident. But if an 18-wheeler doesn't have anywhere to brake, or can you restrict them to one lane? If it's possible between Winnie and Orange, can you restrict them to one lane so that they don't even have to worry about a car just stopping in front of them? Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you hearing me.
Thank you. Addie Allen, 9695 Gross, Beaumont, Texas.
Good afternoon, Mayor. I see my 3 minutes started already. City Manager and council members. This is an air horn. If I blew it, would anybody know what it means? And this is just my example of, we need a siren. And when we get a siren, the citizens need to know what it means. What it means is seconds to save your lives. With hurricanes, it's different. We prepare, we board up our windows, we make arrangements to go somewhere. Notice, and I know you're all computer literate, that we have multiple tornadoes that's happening. I still ask, City Manager, can we put this on the agenda? Can you invite some of the contractors that I researched and found? June is what? Hurricane season. I've stood up here time often just saying we need an audible sound. We are our brother's keepers. It's time to stop delaying this. Yes, we get money from sequestration or whatever. I know I just muddied that word up, where we are doing economic development. But we need to take care of our citizens as well. Entergy is going to get $14 more. The lights are amber. 2 summers ago, Entergy said they were going to cut trees. They called our neighborhoods. They never came. Why can't you put them on notice to do something for the money they're going to receive? So I'm vacillating, but it's all safety. So I'm asking that City Council maybe put it on an agenda item so that what I'm saying may be explained by somebody more professional and know what it's all about. We got to do this. Multiple lives are being lost with tornadoes. and you're talking about climate change with that south end carbon CO2, God is making some changes. And we need to be aware that our weather is doing different things that has never happened. Can we do that? And the other thing is, there was a young lady that stood up here that said she had been raped. That took a lot of nerve to come up and say that. Now, generally, our officer, I've seen her when people come up have problems, that she'll go to them. I hope that somebody addressed that, because, you know, that's one person, but that's only one person saying, something happened to me in this city. I need help. You give money to organizations. Let's take care of each other. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you for serving.
Thank you.
Jesus Lopez, 5980 Fair Meadow Drive, Beaumont, Texas.
Hi, this is my first time, so it should be cool. I'm a little nervous. My name is Jesus Lopez, and I live in Ward 2 by Calder, but not Calder with the bike lane. And that's kind of what I'm here to talk about. I've been noticing more bike lanes pop up around the city, which I really like. I've been to many cities and places that have proper bike lanes that are protected. Sometimes they're just painted like ours. And I just want to point out the benefits of having bike lanes in the city. They're cheaper for people to use than roads, because when you use your car, obviously you have maintenance, gas, your car depreciates in value every mile you drive. They're also cheaper for the city to make. And I just want to appreciate the bike lanes that have been popping up, but I know we have a lot of progress to make, and I hope that that's a priority coming up, whether it's all of you on this desk soon or whoever is next. I hope that's a priority. Around where I live, it's kind of safe for me to travel by bike, but for example, I can't make it here from where I live because it's too difficult to cross I-10 going onto the bike lane on Calder. And the bike lane also ends randomly to get here. So it's difficult to get around. And when you make it difficult to get around, people don't use a bike lane, and if you have no network, it's difficult to use. I want you guys to think about how if your street suddenly ended or was on fire at the end of your driveway or whatever, you wouldn't use your street, you wouldn't use your car either. So it's the same premise. I'm sure, hopefully you've heard of the term induced demand. If you make a good, proper, protected bike network with protected intersections, people will use their bikes more to travel. It's the same as a car lane. And that is cheaper on the city. It also gets people outside more. It's healthier for them. And it's cheaper for them to use their bikes rather than a car, or having to pay for car maintenance and stuff like that. Either way, that's just kind of what I want to get out, is hopefully that priority or that progress to continue. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll have council member comment, and I'll start with you, council member Neal. Thank you. Council member Samuel.
No comment, Mayor.
Council member Felshaw.
No comment, Mayor.
Council member Turner.
I would support a workshop for Ms. Addie Allen's request. I wanted to make sure that's understood. But other than that, no other comments.
Thank you. Council member Getz.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Crabb, thank you for your kind comments with regard to my wife. I appreciate them. Ms. Allen, thank you for coming by the house and bringing her some birthday balloons and a little gift. I appreciate that as well. I do want to comment about your concern about sirens and how I personally feel about it, and I support Councilmember Turner's request for a workshop on it. But we used to have civil defense sirens in Beaumont. Yeah, I remember clearly they would test the one downtown at noon every week, and you could hear it downtown. They stopped doing that. They went away from sirens. And the reason is because in days gone by, houses were not necessarily equipped with air conditioners. People had their windows open. You could hear sirens more easily then. There was also a lot more people outside back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, even in the 60s. Downtown was filled with people outside going from store to store. You don't have that as much now. Homes are more soundproof now. You have these things, these cellular phones, smartphones, and when there is an emergency, just like when there's a child abduction, your phone goes off and it tells you what's happening. Almost everybody has cell phones now, or they have the ability to get cell phones. I was at an event last week. I saw across the street free phones, so they're out there. I don't know that there's a lot of practicality towards sirens right now, but I'm certainly willing to discuss it and hear the pros and cons and keep an open mind on that. On the bicycle lanes, I think it's great, especially with the advent of electronic bikes, bikes that people use their bikes more. I do think you can get downtown by going under IH-10 at Calder. I've done it. The bike lane continues through there. I think it stops kind of somewhere where Calder and Phelan, that's the end of that bike lane there. But from that point, you can get all the way downtown, and you can have to circumvent through the neighborhoods to, not put your life at risk on a busy street. But I know I've ridden my bike all the way from way west on Phelan downtown and stayed on side streets till I could get to a bike lane. But I do support continued striping for bike lanes, and I hope we can do that more in the future. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Durio.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say I attended the 409 days in Terrell Park this weekend. The weather wasn't that good, but it was very well attended. Had a nice time. My wife was out of town, so I bought all the bad food I'm not supposed to eat, and that's what I ate all week. I also attended the Spanish Heritage Days down here on Sunday. Also, weather was a lot nicer, and it was very well attended. So those are two events that were really nice. Also, the last day of early voting is today. It ends at 7 p.m., and the election is Saturday, May the 6th from 7 to 7. So if you haven't voted yet, make sure you go out and do your part. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Williams.
Reminder that Thursday, May 11th, we're having a budget workshop. So you'll be getting more information on that budget workshop, the first one of the year. As far as a report on the emergency notification system, I've given that information to staff, and we will have it on the agenda. I've had 2 requests, so it will definitely be on the agenda for the next meeting. It'll be more than about sirens. It'll give you information on our current notification systems in emergency situations, but also it will analyze what Ms. Allen turned in to us and give you the talk about the feasibility of what she submitted to us too. So Mr. Tim Allencheck will be reporting on that. And also likewise on bike lanes and sidewalk friendly. I'm a bike lane. I like to ride bikes and sidewalk friendly. So our goal is to incorporate more sidewalks and bike lanes into our construction projects as we develop as a city, which helps people get around. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Boone.
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Ellis. Thank you. Mr. Barkoviak.
One citizen mentioned the concrete barriers on the freeways. Those are TxDOT freeways managed by them, and probably need to go to them for further comment. But I believe the ones she's talking about are intended to prevent traffic that leaves the roadway from entering and getting onto the other side of the freeway and hitting oncoming traffic. So while you would hit a solid object, you would not hit another car head on, but she can contact TxDOT for further information about how they maintain safety on the freeways.
Thank you. Oh, she's gone. Ms. Broussard.
No comment, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to say I also attended 409 days. Could not find a parking spot. It was well attended. Great success. And on Sunday, it was like the perfect picture day Sunday for the Spanish Heritage Festival. Great food, great music. Somehow I wind up being one of the last people out there. But it was great attendance. And so it's a lot of things going on in Beaumont. Just look around and check the website because there's so much that's going on. But it was a beautiful weekend this weekend to really get out. Again, voting, last day of early voting is today. It ends at 7 p.m. Please get out, exercise your right to vote. And I want to thank you for coming out. And before I adjourn, Councilmember Samuel.
Just acknowledge new charter amendment committee member, Ms. Shirley Cook, is present today.
Oh, Ms. Cook. Thank you for coming, Ms. Cook. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and adjourn. Thank you for coming and go out and spread the love.